I'm Barakat Adekunle. Reading with me is
Boluwaji Ogbumola. Good evening.
Bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews and commentaries. First, the highlight. RAPs move to strengthen operational capacity of DSS.
FG to evacuate over 700 Nigerians in South Africa before June 30 deadline.
INEC begins distribution of sensitive materials for Rivers South East senatorial by-election.
Suspected gang leader shot dead at airport in Ecuador.
Now the news in details. The House of Representatives has commenced legislative consideration of 3 key bills aimed at strengthening the operational capacity of the Department of State Services, DSS. The lawmakers also emphasized the need for sustainable funding, enhanced intelligence training, and indigenous research to address Nigerians' evolving security challenges. The bills were the focus of a public hearing organized by the House Committee on National Security and Intelligence today at the National Assembly, Abuja. Speaking at the hearing, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Ahmed Satomi, said the hearing was convened pursuant to Order 12 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives and Section 88, Subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution to gather expert opinions and stakeholders' input on the bills. He explained that the committee received memoranda and oral submissions on 3 proposed laws: a bill to establish the DSS Trust Fund, another to create the Strategic Intelligence Management Institute, and a third to establish the DSS Research and Development Institute. The committee chairman stressed that the public hearing was intended to improve the quality of the draft laws and urged participants to focus their contributions on strengthening national security while safeguarding citizens' rights. Declaring the hearing open, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, described national security as the foundation upon which economic growth, social development, and democratic governance depend, adding that the 3 bills address critical gaps in Nigerian security architecture.
In the meantime, retired military officers and associates of late Major General Rabi Abubakar retired have called for comprehensive reforms of Nigeria's security architecture following the retired general's death after he was abducted by bandits in Katsina State. The appeal was made today during a press conference in Kaduna addressed by Brigadier General Ismail Abdullahi retired, who spoke on behalf of colleagues, friends and associates of the deceased officer. Brigadier General Abdullahi retired described the death of General Abubakar as a tragic reminder of the growing insecurity across the country, noting that the retired officer died after being kidnapped by bandits in the Matazu area of Katsina State. While acknowledging efforts by the federal government and the Katsina state government that led to the rescue of the deceased's wife, Hajia Amina Rabik Abubakar, Abdullahi said the incident highlighted the urgent need for stronger measures to tackle banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism. The retired officers expressed concern over the spread of insecurity across different parts of the country and warned against politicizing the issue or assigning its ethnic or regional interpretations. They stressed that terrorism, kidnapping, and banditry are national problems requiring a united response from all stakeholders.
The Kwara State Police Command has dismissed reports of a bandit invasion in Oluyole, Ilorin East local government area, warning against the spread of false information capable of causing panic and public disorder. The command also said it had begun efforts to identify and prosecute the individual responsible for triggering the alarm, which temporarily disrupted activities at Government Girls Secondary School, Oluyole. According to a statement issued today by the command spokesperson, Adetun Ejire Adeyemi, the incident occurred around 9:15 a.m. after reports emerged that suspected bandits had invaded the area, prompting fears among residents and members of the school community. She said officers were immediately deployed to verify the claim and ensure the safety of residents. While urging residents to remain vigilant, the command cautioned against circulating rumors or unverified reports on security matters. It advised members of the public to verify information through appropriate channels and promptly report suspicious activities to security agencies, assuring residents that adequate measures remain in place to safeguard lives and property across the state.
The federal government has assured Nigerians living in South Africa that all citizens who have indicated willingness to return home amid ongoing anti-migrant attacks in the country will be evacuated before June 30 deadline. The assurance was given by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bianca Odumego-Ojukwu, in a press statement issued today and signed by the Special Assistant on Communication and New Media, Magnus Eze. The minister said the President Tinubu administration remains committed to the safety and welfare of Nigerians abroad and would ensure that no citizen willing to return from South Africa is left behind. According to her, the evacuation exercise is already underway, with the first batch of 215 Nigerians successfully airlifted from South Africa and received by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shola Enikan-Olaye, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on June 11. She disclosed that about 1,000 Nigerians had registered their evacuation from South Africa, adding that arrangements were being concluded to bring home the remaining citizens before the deadline. The minister explained that Nigeria will continue to engage South African authorities through diplomatic channels while exploring other lawful options to address the situation.
As economic realities continue to pose challenges for many households, financial discipline and a strong saving culture have become increasingly important for achieving financial stability and long-term security. Experts say prudent spending and regular savings can help individuals meet future needs, cope with emergencies, and avoid unnecessary debt. Staff reporter Olubumi Lawal examines the importance of financial discipline and saving habits.
Financial discipline is the ability to manage money responsibly through careful spending, budgeting, and informed financial decision making. It involves prioritizing essential needs, avoiding impulsive purchases, and maintaining a balance between income and expenditure. Closely linked to this is the habit of saving, which entails setting aside a portion of one's income on a regular basis for future needs. Savings can serve as a financial cushion during emergencies and can also be used for education, investment, business expansion, retirement, and other life goals. Speaking on the importance of financial planning, a financial expert, Mr. Tuji Adepeju, stressed the need for individuals to embrace financial discipline and cultivate a saving culture through formal banking channels, cooperative societies, periodic contributions, and other structured savings platforms.
You know, when you make mention of savings, I give credit to our market women. These people that go around Alajo, they do a lot of this savings for people. And when you also belong to a cooperative society, whether at work or in your community, you can gain a lot. You make a savings of probably 10,000 naira, just a hypothetical figure, and in your society you can take up to 300% of your savings. And with all this that you take, and which we call in those days
Mr. Adepeju acknowledged that economic challenges such as inflation, fluctuating market conditions, and low income levels often make saving difficult. However, he advised individuals to develop realistic and flexible budgets, prioritize essential expenditures, and reduce unnecessary spending in order to maintain financial stability.
As a person, you cannot control your income, whether you are a civil servant, a public servant, or a self-employed, because it is what comes in that is your income. What you can check and monitor and control is what goes out from you.
Some respondents also shared their views on financial discipline and savings. While a number of them noted that they are able to save consistently and adhere to spending plans, others attributed their inability to do so to prevailing economic pressures and rising living costs.
I'm a family man. I have members of a certain family who can decide to come to me for any assistance at any point in time. And also, as an African, so it is even alien to our culture. You can't be strict with your spending. So there are occasions that are things that you didn't even dream of will crop up, and you have to do something to tackle it.
Have a current account to run the business, and then a savings account to take care of all these little expenses and some other things. So definitely in a month we have a budget, but you know that we have to be dynamics because of the situations of the country. If you budgeted and that this is what you are going to spend this month, definitely there will be a variation because of the fluctuations in the economy and some other things.
As a family woman, we try to follow the budget, but it's not possible with the economy we are right now, because when you budget to do something, maybe for a certain amount, when you get to market, you realize that the actual amount budgeted for is not the amount you are going to meet at the market. So at times we try to work towards it, but it doesn't really work.
Financial experts maintain that financial discipline and consistent saving remain critical tools for attaining financial independence and long-term prosperity. By planning effectively, spending wisely, and saving regularly, individuals can build a more secure future and improve their overall quality of life. Despite prevailing economic uncertainties, those who embrace prudent financial practices are better positioned to withstand financial shocks and achieve their personal and financial goals. Olubunmi Lawal, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced the distribution of sensitive election materials ahead of the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District by-election scheduled for Saturday, June 20, 2026. National and state officials of the Commission were at the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN office in Port Harcourt today to supervise the distribution process as part of preparations for the poll. The by-election was necessitated by the death of Senator Bernarda Mpigi in February 2026, leaving the Rivers Southeast Senatorial seat vacant. According to INEC's published Form EC9, 4 political parties have been cleared to participate in the election, which are the Action Alliance AA, All Progressive Congress APC, Labour Party LP, and the People's Democratic Party PDP. A total of 858,573 registered voters are expected to participate in the exercise across 1,629 polling units located in 88 electoral wards. INEC has also deployed 6,774 ad hoc staff to conduct the election. The Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, will be used for voter accreditation and verification.
The Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, Lagos State branch has expressed concern over the ongoing 3-day warning strike by resident doctors at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASOTH, warning that the action could escalate into a wider healthcare disruption if urgent intervention is not made. The association said the strike was triggered by unresolved welfare issues, including delayed implementation of revised professional allowances, unpaid promotion arrears, inadequate welfare support, and other long-standing concerns affecting medical personnel. Among the demands of the resident doctors are the completion of the resident doctors' courses and residency training center, payment of specialist and teaching allowances, approval of the 2026 Medical Residency Training Fund, and improved security within the hospital environment. The NMA urged the Lagos State government, hospital management, and relevant stakeholders to engage the striking doctors urgently, warning that continued delays could trigger broader industrial actions and negatively impact healthcare delivery across the state.
29-year-old Boluwatife Babalola has been receiving support from kind-hearted individuals in a battle against kidney disease, but the funds raised so far are still far from being enough to secure the life-saving transplant she urgently needs. Boluwatife, whose health reportedly deteriorated shortly after completing a university education in 2025, has since relied on frequent dialysis sessions and regular blood transfusions while continuing to appeal for financial assistance. According to her, medical experts have recommended an urgent kidney transplant as the only viable option to save her life. However, the procedure and associated medical expenses are estimated at about 45 million naira, an amount far beyond the financial capacity of her family. As the race against time continues, Boluwatife is appealing to well-meaning Nigerians, corporate organizations, philanthropists, and charitable groups to come to her aid. Individuals are willing to support her kidney transplant and ongoing medical treatment can contact the News and Current Affairs Department of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, or pay into her GT Bank account 021-981-0778 with the name Babalola Boluwatife Ruth.
Just as it was during his lifetime, the Oluyole Bashorun residents of the late Are Muslumi of Yoruba land, Edo and Delta states, Alhaji Abdulaziz Arishekola Alao, attracted a large gathering of family members, associates, Islamic clerics, and admirers. The gathering was for the 12th memorial prayer held in his honor. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurafi reports.
Late Alhaji Abdulaziz Arishekola Alao was a distinguished businessman, foremost Islamic leader, philanthropist, and the first Are Muslumi of Yoruba land, Edo and Delta states, widely celebrated for his generosity, religious devotion, and unwavering commitment to humanity. He dedicated much of his wealth and influence to the promotion of Islam, education, interfaith harmony, and the welfare of the less privileged. To commemorate the 12th anniversary of his passing, Islamic clerics led by the chief imam of Ibadan land, Sheikh Abdulgani Yagbotomokekere, family members led by his younger brother Alhaji Abu Alao, associates led by Professor Kamil Koyejo Olosho, and thousands of beneficiaries of his philanthropy gathered for special prayers in his memory. Delivering the sermon, the Alfa Agba of Ibadan land, Dr. Abdulbari Adetunji, described the late Arishekola Alao as a man who lived a life of service, positively impacted humanity, and tirelessly strove in the cause of Allah.
Ọjọ́ ọ̀kan pàtàkì ọjọ́ Ààrẹ Mùsùlùmí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n sì kópa ribiribi nípa ànáwó nípa ànára wọ́n kó ọmọ òrukàn mọ́ra wọ́n kó àwọn opó mọ́ra wọ́n kó àwọn àfáà mọ́ra wọ́n náwó wọn sí bí ẹ̀sìn Islam wọ́n kó àwọn mọ́sálásí wọ́n kó àwọn institution iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ wọn náà ṣàdúrà fún wọn. Ọlọ́gan náà sọ pé gbogbo àwọn tí ń bẹ̀rù òun innal muttaqina mafasa àlùjánnà ni wọ́n lọ.
Speaking on behalf of associates of the late Islamic leader, Professor Kamil Koyejo Olosho described him as a colossus whose legacies continue to speak long after his demise. He noted that beyond sponsoring thousands of Muslims to the Holy Lands, Arishekola Alao also supported Christian pilgrimages to Jerusalem, demonstrating his commitment to religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence.
There is no where Are is not remembered for the good he has done before his departure from this world. And today we are also gathered to recite the whole of the Quran and Dalailul Khairat for the repose of his soul. It is our fervent prayer that Are, even before the day of judgment, will be guest of the Almighty Allah at what the Almighty calls Iliyin.
In a remark, Alhaji Abu Alao said, the annual memorial prayer remains a family obligation, recalling that the late Arishekola Alao personally organized annual prayers for their departed parents while he was alive.
Nta ń ṣe yìí bá ṣe máa ń ṣe fún ìyá wa àti bàbá wa la ṣe ń ṣe fáwọn náà torí àwọn òkú nídìí àdúrà because àmọ́ kò tí ń wà ló ń jẹ́ kí a máa ṣe. lọ́dọọdún.
A major highlight of the event was the distribution of food items and other relief materials to hundreds of less privileged persons in attendance. Born on February 14, 1945 in Ibadan, Alhaji Abdulaziz Arishekola Alao rose from humble beginnings to become one of Nigeria's most successful indigenous entrepreneurs with business interests spanning transportation, real estate, publishing, agriculture, insurance, and manufacturing. Though he passed on in 2014, his enduring legacy of faith, philanthropy, and service to humanity continues to inspire generations. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
On the foreign scene, an Ecuadorian man who police accused of leading a faction of one of the country's most feared criminal gangs has been shot dead as he was leaving the airport in Ecuador's largest city, Guayaquil. Foreign news editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
Security footage shows two young men waiting outside the arrival terminal holding stuffed toys and flowers before one of them approached the victim, pulled out his gun from behind a teddy and shoots him point blank. Police have detained two teenagers in connection with the crime, the latest in a widespread wave of gang violence. This latest deadly shooting came just a day after Ecuador's president declared a fresh state of emergency in 10 provinces, including Guayas, where the attack unfolded. Ecuador's Interior Minister John Reinberg identified the victim of the attack as 39-year-old Carlos Alberto Suastegui Villanueva, who he said was the leader of the Los Aguilas gang in El Trifino, a region east of Guayaquil. Los Aguilas, which was designated as a terrorist organization by Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa in 2024, is accused of being heavily involved in drug trafficking and extortion. Israeli airstrikes on southern Lebanon have killed at least 3 people, Lebanese state media has reported, a day after the United States and Iran signed an interim agreement that called for an end to their war on all fronts, including Lebanon. Lebanon's national news agency reported on Thursday that an Israeli drone attack hit a car near the town of Kfar Tebnet, killing 2 people. At least 1 person was killed in a separate Israeli strike in Zabadin, the news reported. NNA also reported that a strike carried out by an Israeli drone in the town of Beit Rahon in the Nabatea governorate wounded 2 people. The strikes occurred as Israel faces pressure to halt its attacks on Lebanon and pull out all occupying forces as part of the agreement with the US-Iran agreement to extend their ceasefire. However, Israel's military released a map on Thursday showing what it says are the current positions of its forces inside southern Lebanon, extending about 10 kilometers, that's about 6.2 miles into Lebanese territory along its yellow line, a framework similar to the Israeli military measure in the besieged Gaza Strip. Finally, an 18-year-old man has died after falling from a horse-drawn carriage in New York City. The teenager, identified locally as a tourist from India, was riding on the carriage in Central Park with 3 others when the driver stepped away to take a picture of the group, police told US media. The horse then bolted before clipping another carriage and toppling over, footage showed. The critically injured young man was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The 3 other passengers did not require treatment, according to reports. The accident comes a week after a carriage horse called Denise died in Central Park from eating a toxic plant, according to the initial autopsy reports. Bimbo Akombi, BCOS News.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The House of Representatives has commenced legislative consideration of 3 key bills aimed at strengthening the operational capacity of the Department of State Services, DSS.
The federal government has assured Nigerians living in South Africa that all citizens who have indicated willingness to return home amid the ongoing anti-migrant attacks in the country will be evacuated before the June 30 deadline.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced the distribution of sensitive election materials ahead of the River South-East Senatorial District by-election, scheduled for Saturday, 20th of June, 2026.
An Ecuadorian man who police accuse of leading a faction of one of the country's most feared criminal gangs has been shot dead as he was leaving the airport in Ecuador's largest city of Guayaquil.
And now, before we go, if you see something, say something. Be security conscious. That's all from Newscope desk for now. It was packaged by Oluyole Adedeji and delivered by
Oluwaji Ogumola. Good evening.
And Barakat Adekule. Thanks for listening. And do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
TS Charity lẹ́yìn tí wà ní BCOS ṣe ti bọ̀ pé BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV ṣe ti rí pé nóbi pépé na reality kọ̀ǹfàmù ní ẹ̀dá máa mú wá kárí ayé o BCOS to the world BCOS ilé akéde ẹ̀yìn tí wà